Smackdown starts off with The Miz. He ends up cutting a promo. I'm not gonna really go in depth on this promo because this was just a random promo that they just have The Miz just crashing out, mentioning the retirement tour and all that. Mentions how he's the face of the company, whatever. Then we get the return of Randy Orton, which was great. He RKO's The Miz, and that's really it. I don't really understand why this segment was really necessary. I don't even know why this segment was needed because you didn't need to return Randy just to RKO the Miz. So I don't really know why they did. Well, I know why they did this. This was just filler, just to fill out the 3 hour show. Because this episode of SmackDown, it wasn't bad. It was good in my opinion because this kind of felt like a 2 hour show, just just longer with more filler, just to fill it out. This was one of those segments where I feel like they just filled it out, made it a little bit long just to fill out the show. Because the Miz was ranting for like 8 minutes, just saying nothing, and then Randy Orton just RKO's him, and then we ended up getting a backstage segment with him saying that he's going to go after the WWE title. So hopefully this is the actual beginning of Cody and Randy feud eventually, of them stop teasing this feud. But knowing Triple H, they're probably going to do a million more teases and not pull the trigger on it because they've been teasing this feud for a while now. So I'm not really expecting much from a Randy Orton return, to be honest. Now it is towards the Royal Rumble, so maybe they are going to actually put some effort, but I'm just going to believe it when I see it and not really buy into the hype. I'm just going to wait and see how it all plays out and then finally make my final conclusions on it because I'm just going to wait and see what they do with Randy. Because typically when Randy Orton just returns, he typically returns for like a little feud to help someone out, lose, lose on a PLE, and that's really it. So we'll see how this all unfolds. We'll get an 8 woman tag match between Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky versus the Kabuki Warriors, Nia Jax, Legislation. This match was decent. It was a decent match. Very predictable match, which I knew was going to happen. I predicted this like 2 weeks ago. The babyface team wins. They was always going to win because the heels weren't going to beat them cleanly. They never, because you got four of the most protected women in the women's division, so they weren't going to lose this match. This sets up next week where we're going to get the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match between the Kabuki Warriors, Rhea and Io, which I'm assuming they will win because I don't see a reason why the Kabuki Warriors should win at this point. And I'm kind of just over this feud. I'm kind of over this story. Then you have Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss doing this weird thing where they're keep going backstage talking about we got next and we want our titles back. It's like, okay, we get it, bro. You want your titles. Like, goddamn. Like, how many times are we going to keep doing this thing where they have these weird encounters with each other about the women's tag team? Like, it is what it is. Should be a good match next week. And then if Charlotte and Alexa are next in line, that should be a good match as well. But me personally, I'm just ready for this entire Kabuki Warriors women's tag titles thing to just be over and done with. Afterwards, though, we end up getting Kit Wilson, and he ended up getting a surprise opponent, and it ends up being Matt Cardona. And Matt Cardona is officially on the SmackDown roster. He's officially a full-time performer, which I'm going to enjoy because SmackDown needs more bodies. They need more. They need some new talent to really enhance the men's division to make it more interesting. Interested to see where they put him, whether it's in the mid card or the main event scene. You could put him in either. I don't mind either way. I'm just interested to see how this Matt Cardona will be booked in WWE. Kid Wilson, not really going to really go that in depth on him. It looks like he's going to be more of a single star. He got a new theme music. He got his own theme entrance, which I actually do like. It fits his character. One thing I will say is, can we please get rid of the whole toxic masculinity thing? I really, I just find it very annoying and very cringe, if I'm being honest. I get the purpose of his character. I get what they're going for. I like it. I just don't like the toxic masculinity thing. I just find it a bit cringe. If they could use something else, I'm cool. But the toxic masculinity, not really messing with that whole thing. But nonetheless, the match went on a little longer than I expected. I don't know why this match was like 6 minutes, or it felt like it. Should have been just a squash match, if I'm being honest. But Matt Cardona picks up the victory. Interested to see what they do with him in the future. Like I said, I think they may start him off slow in the mid card and then work his way up to the main event, or maybe he never makes the main event. Who knows? But nonetheless, Matt Cardona's back. They get an extra body on SmackDown, which they desperately need. So I'm 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 interested to see where this goes. We'll get a quick segment with Sami Zayn, and he's in the ring. He basically talks about wanting to be a world champion. Then you get Trick Williams interrupts. He ends up saying that basically he's having his very arrogant, cocky persona from NXT, basically saying that he looks like a real champion. He looks like a world champ, that his time is now, and that Sami, you know, he wasted opportunities. He took way too long, and that he's going to be the opposite. He's going to come in and just win automatically. Sami basically ends up saying that there's plenty of guys just like Drake who thought the same thing but failed, and that he's going to teach him a lesson next week in trying to humble Trick Williams. I'm interested in this. I think this could be interesting. I don't know if this is going to be a feud. I don't know if I want this to be a feud, but this could be like a little mini feud for Sami into the Rumble and for Trick as well. So I'm interested to see where this goes. I don't mind it at all. This should be a really good match because you shouldn't have a bad match with Sami Zayn. Trick Williams isn't bad. He's a decent wrestler. He still needs to improve in the area, but he's an overall decent wrestler overall. I'm interested to see where this goes. Like I said, don't know if this would be a real feud, but this could go somewhere. We do end up getting a Cody Rhodes promo. Not gonna really go that depth on the promo because he really didn't say anything that special. He goes on and on. Then eventually we end up getting Drew McIntyre on the Titantron. He's by Cody Rhodes' bus that he travels with, and he ends up mentioning the 3 stages that they're gonna have. He ends up saying the 3 stages are gonna be a normal match, a 2 out of 3 falls, and a steel cage match, which should be very interesting. Then he ends up saying that he looked through the bus, looked for something, looked for something that stood out, and he ends up grabbing a picture of him and his father standing next to each other, and then he eventually ends up breaking the picture frame that the picture was in. Cody, of course, goes after him. You got security and Nick Aldis trying to stop him from attacking Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre then reappears in the ring with the photo. Cody tries to follow him, but the security guards are pulling him back, and then he ends up burning the picture in front of Cody's face, antagonizing him while the security, Nick Aldis, pulls him away. This was a really good segment. Really enjoyed it. This was the most entertaining thing on the show. I hope Drew McIntyre wins. I still think he's going to lose, but I hope he does win. I'm going to be honest. If I was Cody, I'll be very mad at Nick Aldis because, like, why are you pulling me away? Because it's like, the only thing that happens is he loses the WWE Championship. It's not like he gets a lawsuit or anything. So it's like, it's very weird that the security guards and Nick Aldis are trying this hard to pull him away. Like, I kind of get it, but it's like, it gets to a point where it's kind of ridiculous at the same time. But I do understand what they was going for her. Still thought it was a good segment overall. Things like this is why Drew McIntyre should have just already won a WWE Championship because he's so great, so amazing as a heel. But very interested to see how this all unfolds. I want him to win. I just highly doubt he will win, but we'll see how it plays out. We get a Women's United States Championship match between Chelsea Green and Julia. I'm going to be honest. I did not care for this match. I did not pay much attention to this match. I don't even know if it was a good match or not. All I know is the crowd barely reacted when Julia won. And I honestly don't care either because it's very obvious that they don't care about the Women's United States Championship picture. And then maybe it'll be different this time around with Julia, but they still don't have no bodies. Now they're teasing Jordynne Grace being on Smackdown, which I don't understand why they're teasing it. She's either in or she's not. We don't got time for this tease because who gives a fuck? Like, who cares? Jordynne Grace ain't doing shit in NXT. I'm not going to say she's a waste of a body in NXT, but she kind of is because what is the point of her in NXT? Not doing anything. She's not having any feuds. I think she only had 1 feud in NXT. I guess the Kalani Jordan feud, but her real only feud was really Blake Monroe. It's like, what are we doing? Like, just send her already down there. I don't get the whole point of teasing it. Like, it's not like Jordynne Grace is like this it's not like a Trick Williams where she's like super over. Like, Jordynne Grace isn't that over where you need to tease it. If I mean, like, just put her in it. Just put her on SmackDown already. Like, and plus, Jordynne Grace isn't going to save that division because you still need more bodies than that. So it's like, I honestly don't really care. We'll see how it plays out. I'm not the biggest Julia fan anyway. I think she's very overrated, but people love her for whatever reason. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see how this reign will be different, but I really don't think this reign will be any different, especially if she's not going to defend it consistently. Because, like I said before, with women like Julia, you have to have them defend weekly because they're not going to impress you with their story or character. Their main asset is in ring. So if she's going to barely defend it and defend it like once every 3 weeks, that's doing a disservice to her, if I'm being honest. It's not how you book someone like a Julia. You got to book her every week and have her wrestle every week. Basically, got to have her do open challenges. That's the only way to make her title reign interesting. So we'll see how it unfolds. Then we finally get the main event. Damian Priest, Aleister Black in an ambulance match. This match was fine. I liked the ending. I liked towards like the last 5 minutes, but for majority of the match, it just felt way too slow for my liking. Very slow pace, way too many pauses in the match. But towards the end of the match, you end up getting Rhea Ripley confronting Zelina Vega being in the ambulance truck, hits a riptide, takes her out. You got Damian Priest ends up doing a razor's edge onto the ambulance windshield, and then eventually ends up doing a choke slam off on top of the ambulance truck onto a table, puts him in the ambulance and wins. So this is the end of the feud. Hopefully it is the end of the feud. It should be the end of the feud. Because I'm tired of it. I like Damian. I like Aleister, but I'm tired of them feuding. I'm tired of them having matches. So I'm hoping this is the end. This was a decent way to end the show. What's next for you guys? I don't know. I know a lot of people are going to complain about Damian Priest winning this feud, which I kind of get it because I do think he should have lost the feud, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter. It's not like Aleister Black is going to the main event scene anyway. This doesn't really hurt Aleister as well. I know a lot of people are going to say Damian is burying people due to a lot of people don't like Damian Priest due to the whole Finn Balor thing, but to be fair, you guys are just Finn Balor fanboys who thought he was going to win the feud, which he was never going to win. I do think Damian Priest can be a little bit overprotected at times because sometimes they do treat him way too strong for a guy that's barely ever been in the main event scene. So it is a bit strange how much they protect him. But nonetheless, it was a solid match. Overall show, I thought it was a decent show. It wasn't bad. It just felt like a 2-hour show filled with 3 hours. I feel like they stretched this out a bit because the first segment was a bit stretched out, and then this main event was definitely stretched out. They made this a lot longer than it really needed to be, if I'm being honest, for this main event match. But nonetheless, it was a decent show overall. You guys let me know your overall thoughts and opinions down below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my content. But yeah, that's it.